Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Oklahoma Archery Podcast. I'm Nick O'Neill, and we're fastly approaching 3D season, so we've got two of the best here to talk about an event coming up in Tulsa you're not going to want to miss. So we've got Travis Keith and Jereme Budgick here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the SHOT 3DX Indoor 3D Extravaganza. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Perfect. So this is Jereme. This is y'all's second year at the Tulsa Convention Center.
It's been renamed to the RVest Convention Center, but yeah, last year I think it was called the Cox Convention Center.
Okay, so that's right downtown Tulsa.
Downtown Tulsa. Don't ask me the address. I think it's on Cincinnati. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's downtown Tulsa. The parking's a little less than desirable, but it's a good venue. Got the boat show going on. There's a little hunting show going on inside of it, and then we have the 3D Indoor Classic.
Perfect. Well, it was a lot of fun last year. We did the 2-day live stream from it, so we're going to get to shoot both Wild Creek targets and paper targets at an unknown distance indoors.
Yeah, no rangefinders. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So you'll shoot, if you haven't done it last year, you'll shoot 2 3D targets, and then you'll switch over and shoot 3 Vegas faces, 2 more 3D targets, 3 Vegas faces for a total of 20 arrows on your run. And we're scoring an ASA scoring. 14 rings are in play. So make it a little bit more interesting. You get to make up some points if you didn't judge your distance on the previous shot that well. And then standard Vegas scoring as well. Tiebreakers will be the X counts and 12 rings.
Do X's count as 11?
No.
Okay. Not that I was planning on shooting very many of them, but just in case I accidentally landed there, I wanted to clarify that. So, yeah. Travis, if you guys didn't see our live stream, or if you've been living under a rock, Travis was one of our winners from last year's event. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't matter which of the 3 days you shoot, because they're paying out individual days. So if you come Friday, you're shooting against the guys there Friday. Not I should say the guys, the archers there Friday. Same thing for Saturday and same thing for Sunday. So they're paying out 3 separate days individually, which is pretty cool for a tournament this time of year.
Yeah, and not just paying out all 3 days, but you can also buy back in as many times as you want. And so if you didn't like your score, you can buy back in, do another round, and try to bump your score up.
Perfect. So if you shoot one and you judge it at 38 yards and you hit a little bit high, you just got to finish the round, call it all practice shots, and then go back out there and shoot it for maybe 36 or 35.
Absolutely.
There you go. So if you haven't been to this event, what all can somebody that's coming expect to see outside of the indoor 3D?
Well, they got the boat show going on. So there's lots of the local boat marinas and boat dealerships. There's a lot of just fishing, hunting, kind of landscaping guys will be there. There's a little bit for everybody. I think last year they had a top golf simulator there. There's just a little bit of everything. It's in the middle of January or the beginning of January. There's not a lot to do outside. Once it gets dark at 5 o'clock, we're all itching to get back in shooting bows, and that's why we're doing this indoor. And it's a good family, event that you can come to.
It's got food right there it's got a food court right there.
There's food court there. Yep.
A couple of different vendors, maybe some alcoholic beverages for sale for some of you that like to partake in the illicit substances. It was a really cool event just because you get so many people that are they're sticking their head in the hallway and they're like, "Hey guys, they're shooting bows and arrows back here." And that always kind of perks my ears up as people that, they want to try. I might try to bring some Genesis bows up or a kid's bow or something like that and try to hook some of these unsuspecting parents on getting their kids shooting archery just before 3D season starts. So completely, self-interested, I know, but I'm excited for it. It's something that it's on the same weekend as the ATA. So I know a lot of the like shops and stuff that would normally host events this time of year, they're all going to be 4 or 5 states over in Indiana at the trade show. So I think this is great timing on y'all's part, because it's like we have a whole weekend that's just kind of blacked out of the calendar, where no one with an indoor range is going to be there to host a shoot. They're either shooting the Rushmore Rumble at the ATA, or they're taking their business to the ATA. And it's like, well, we all got to get ready for, the 3D season coming up. How are we going to dial our bows in if it's like last year? It was, I don't know, about 10 degrees and sleet and ice the whole time. So it was fun. I got to put my truck in 4-wheel drive for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Travis, you've been kind of quiet so far on here. Tell everybody where you're from and what shop you shoot out of, and how you got wrangled into talking archery with these two today.
Yeah. So Travis Keith. I live here in Oologah, kind of northeast Oklahoma, and kind of shoot out of the Arrow shop up there with Miles and Kelly and the guys up there a lot. Tulsa Archery Association. We got our Tom Thomas New Year's Day shoot coming up soon. So guys, text me if you want a spot on the line. Just let me know and we'll get you on that. So
pre-registration is encouraged for that one because there's limited space.
Yeah, limited space. So we're about 50% right now. So yeah, shoot me a text if you guys are interested in that. So shot the event last year, Jereme's event downtown Tulsa. The weather was crummy, but it was new, different, and honestly, it was like one of the funnest. It was a really fun event. The targets, those Wild Creek targets, are just crazy. The detail, and even indoors, it was quite difficult to, see your rings or pick your spot or whatever. And it was a pretty good time. So, yeah, looking forward to it again.
It was a good time. I don't have the cameras right now to run the live stream again, so I'm looking forward to just showing up and shooting. And I'm waiting on a LASIK procedure, so I'm probably going to be out of contacts. So you guys need to come watch me shoot blindly indoors and pray for the sheetrock behind me, because it's going to be I'm not going to not shoot it. I just can't see very well past about 3 or 4 feet in front of me. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing if it helps or hurts my judging.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun time. There's also going to be, last year, I think you guys had a door prize giveaway about every 23 seconds on average. So
yeah, we got a lot of great sponsors that are throwing in some door prizes. Tybo's, Bill's Sporting Goods, Oakley Land, Shields is throwing some stuff in on this one. Hanger Co., Unbound, Tacticam, DKM Sense, Darton. There will be a bow giveaway. So the bow giveaway at this event is going to be a Darton, your choice between a sequel or a consequence. And then the Arrow Miles from the Arrow Shop's getting us some gift cards and some goodies to give away. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to throw out. We got some stuff for the kids from Bill's Sporting Goods, and it'll be a good time.
It's an interesting event. Do you think more people are going to show up with a hunting bow for this, or do you think you're going to start seeing some of the tournament rigs for 3D season come out?
Man, it was about a 50-50 mix last year. I'm hoping to see more of the hunting bows, just because I think there's more hunting bows out there than there are target rigs. So if we see a 70-30 split, that means our attendance is swaying a little bit, towards the hunting guys, and we're getting a better attendance. But yeah, it was about 50-50 last year. I think the weather really affected us last year. We had a torrential snowstorm, and it was weather kind of hurt us a little bit on attendance, but we still had, for the guys that was there, it was a great shoot, and I think we had close to 100 altogether for the weekend.
Yeah, that's 100 people, not 100 cards. You got to realize a lot of them shot multiple days or shot 2 or 3 times in the same day, because I think on average you had a line go through there about every 17 to 18 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to push that pace. Well, I don't know. We'll do it as fast as we have to. I think we can shoot 7 at a time. I think it was around 20, 25 minutes for a round.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that was done, we had the guys, tallying up the scores, and we hit another round.
So, point of clarification for everybody curious about attending, how many arrows do they need to bring because they're shooting multiple targets at once?
Yeah, a minimum of 3.
Minimum of 3 arrows.
You're going to need 3 arrows to shoot. So I wouldn't bring 3 in case something happens to one of them. You probably need to have a quiver of 5, just 2 backups. But you're going to be shooting 3 at a time.
There you go. And we will be pulling your arrows for you. That is the reason behind that is so you can't step off the distance to the targets, because once you know what it is, you can kind of start doing the math on what the rest of them are. You're going to have to trust your shot placement and where your arrow lands to do your best at determining the yardage. And it's a big hallway. I mean, you guys really do have some pretty good room in there. I think some of the targets you brought were a little bit bigger on the Wild Creek side. So you do have some good depth vertically if you have some arrow droppage. So if you want to bring your 23s or your 27s, the Wild Creek targets are quite a bit bigger than your typical Delta McKenzie Wolverine at 40 yards. So you do have a little bit of grace there on the find and foam rather than sheetrock if you're a nervous person like myself.
Yeah. We do that on purpose. We bring our biggest targets there. I think last year with the Cape Horn buffalo was zebra. I think the small target. What was that?
The lion.
Yeah, a bed lion, and I think maybe the smallest one we had was an impala or possibly the turkey. And turkey's pretty good size too. And we had that one up close, so you're not going to miss it. But
can't see it, but you're not.
You can't see the ring. Big old black blob there at 17 yards. And we do that on purpose. We try not to put any holes in the sheetrock here at the convention center, and we will have a arrow curtain up behind that. So
yeah, that's a safety procedure. I remember rigging that up, watching Tim Gregg swing from the rafters like a chimpanzee, trying to get that thing up there. That was worth the drive in the snow. But I think that was the weekend I got fired from the firm I was working at, so I didn't have anything better to do anyways. It was a fun weekend. We patched it together, and it was a good time, even despite the weather. We had people show up from western Oklahoma. We had people show up from southeast Missouri. I had some Kansas guys come down for it. So you can expect to see archers from 3, maybe 4 or 5 states travel to this, and we're hoping that it grows because the little hosts that were there, they weren't around when the indoor nationals used to be hosted there. And she's like, I never thought we would have been shooting archery in this hall. And I was like, oh man, you're not, I guarantee you were born past 1995. And she's like, well, yeah, how'd you know that? And I was like, because indoor nationals used to be here and there were thousands of them. So this is it's not the same halls that they used, but it's the same facility. It's just been renovated. And they used to have, in the early 90s, Tulsa was the absolute premier NFAA Indoor Nationals location. That was a great tournament that they had for years and years. So we're hoping that it grows.
Yeah.
Travis, what bow are you going to show up to defend your title this year?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been thinking about that. I've been shooting my 38 right now, the Title 38, trying to shoot it indoors and playing around with a couple of different things. And put a new string on the 36, so I don't have it set up yet. I plan on shooting the 36 for 3D again, probably like I did last year with the longer bars. But I'm still contemplating shooting short bars on my 38 for NFA events or maybe this. So I haven't quite. I might throw the pin sight on there and come back with my pins and just do it my style since everybody's getting rid of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Travis Keith with a pins bow is one of the most scary things you can see on the line.
That's probably the best bet is throw my pin sight on it and just do it like that.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to show up with. I'm probably going to show up with a hunting bow, shooting at like 287 foot per second with a 204 diameter shaft. One, because I have a lot of them, and I'm not worried about losing them nearly as much as my 23s. But without having contacts in, I usually don't shoot in glasses. I haven't in several years. It kind of throws off my alignment a little bit. So if I'm going to be blind out there, at least I'm going to be fast. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I might miss one, but it's going to go buried so far in the sheetrock that no one's going to know. And we're all just like, just go down there and look confused. Like he must have passed through the target or something.
Yeah. And I could bring my hunting bow just for fun. I don't think it's not super fast, but
it's going to be a good weekend. Like y'all plan on coming up. Plenty of hotels nearby the area. So, you can stay and park and walk just one time to the convention center. Kind of watch out for the homeless folks around there. There's probably a whole bunch of them running around. But if you walk down the street carrying a bow and arrow, nobody's really going to give you a whole lot of grief. So,
yeah, you make a good point, Neil. If you are coming to shoot, bring your bow in a bow case. They did ask me to remind people they'd like to have it in a bow case. We are at the south end of the hunting show. There'll be signs that point you to the way because we're kind of in the corner back there. We're not exposed to all the big crowds. Yeah. And we have 3 different start times and quit times because of the way the convention center is opening. But it's 11 to 7:30 on Friday, so it's a full day on Friday. 10 to 7:30 on Saturday, and 10 to 3 on Sunday.
Okay.
That's our shooting. And it's trickle start. So you can show up anytime in that window and jump in the lane. And you can shoot multiple times if you want to. Multiple times or multiple days.
What is the entry fee this year?
$40.
$40.
It's 50-50 payback. So 50% of everything we collect is going back to the top 3 winners each day.
And are you going to let me shoot in the kids class?
You are a kid.
There you go. So I get to shoot in the kids class, right?
You're not going to win, but yeah, we'll let you.
Yeah. I'm not worried about winning. I'm just trying to talk smack.
Yes.
That's all I'm here for.
We'll let you go shoot against the kids and talk smack to them.
I think the highlight of last year for sure was watching a lot of the bow hunters that hadn't been around tournament archery see Chad Shoemake's bow on the line with his 4 stabilizers, 4 30-inch bars, I think is what he was running at the time. The full Tim Gillingham, not the 3/4 Tim Gillingham, the full Gillingham. And that is an introduction to target archery like not many people have ever seen before.
We designed our lanes around his bow setup. we literally we have to have lanes this wide just because we know Chad's coming up there.
Yeah. Yep. It's a problem, but the hosts were very excited to have archery as a part of that. And that was something to see that was really kind of refreshing on my end, because you don't always get that with your event hosts. We've been pretty blessed in the archery community to partner and pair up and team up with some of these people that are like, we just want you to bring your people. We don't expect you to buy a $80,000 Bass Boat Z80 Nitro. You can go look at them. You can take pictures with them. It's all there. Do some last minute Christmas shopping. Or, if you have money left over from Christmas, maybe go buy me a crappie fishing boat or something like that. But there's really something for the whole family. Like you've got, last year we had some hunting expo people that were set up, some African safari hunters right outside. And this guy had some of the coolest videos of, people bow hunting lions and things that you only hear about, third party. And this guy's, he's the real deal. So is he going to be back this year?
I don't think he's making it back. That's Elite Hunting Outfitters, and who we're giving away the African hunt through Shot to 3D experience every year. So the winner from last year, we're going in August. No, it'll be September. Yeah, it's September. We're going and we're giving that hunt away again in 2026.
This was the shot events for the shooting through the Iron Buffalo, right?
Yes.
You break your arrow if you don't hit. Those are the raffle tickets that they're talking about, and that safari Expo was there, and he was fun to hang out with all weekend, dude. I thought I had some good stories. That guy takes the cake.
Yeah, he's got a place in Florida that you can go on turkey hunts and gator hunts and probably python and iguana hunts, all kinds of stuff. And then they also have their South African safaris.
There you go. There you go. Well, I know everybody's still chasing their target buck here. I haven't seen Travis's, and I know Jeremy's is not daylighting right now. So
yeah, he's not daylighting, but he's not dead yet either. So there's still hope.
There you go. Well, Travis, what about you? How's your hunting season treated you so far?
It went pretty well. I had a Kansas tag. I hunted up there a little bit. I killed an 8-pointer up there. It wasn't, like a giant Kansas buck, but it was a pretty good effort and a pretty good hunt for that day or whatever. And then hunted some down here in Oklahoma on some public, and I ended up killing a really cool 10-pointer, pretty good buck. He's thick and mature and tall, but he's kind of different, and he's only like 10.5 inches wide. And so when you look at him from the front, he's different. But I had encountered that deer one time last year. I don't keep logs, but it was probably around the same day on the same trail, similar time, and he got away last year. I kind of hesitated, and then he got out of there. But this year it all worked out, and I ended up making a pretty good shot, and it was
worked out for you, not so much for him.
Yeah, it worked out for me. But that was a hard earned, a pretty good achievement, for my doings, but getting in there and getting him out. But yeah, he was a cool buck.
Travis is a certified big deer killer. He's got some he's got some monsters on the wall that once you see him, you're just like, man, I don't even want to try anymore. I don't want to play this game. And it's really good that he's out there chasing them, because if he was shooting his bow 360 days a year, the rest of us would just be in trouble. So you just keep chasing those deer and spending time in a tree. And
yeah,
I'll go shoot my 285 score on a Vegas face at the indoor, and I'll just be happy.
I've been trying to relearn how to shoot. It's been rough.
Well, tell us a little bit about your shot process. I'll go ahead and tell everybody out there, if you haven't seen Travis shoot, he is very questionably alive at full draw. There's enough movement there that I want to check him for a pulse. Just working that old Longhorn. Is it Longhorn hinge?
Yeah. Old Scott Longhorn.
Just keep pulling, and there's not a shake, there's not a bobble in it. So walk everybody through your shot process.
Oh goodness. Well, I watched Quinn's, when you guys talked to Quinn the other day, and you hear a lot of these guys and you hear the same thing. It's about your process, and the mental side of it is important. I'm heavy on the mental side, and man, I got to look at my notes over there. I've got notes written on my fridge of my shot process. From where I'll stand. I have a target down the hall, and I'll shoot. Just down the hall, and yeah, I mean, just looking up there at my notes, it's stance, release, grip, relaxing your shoulders, anchor, peep. I tell myself relax, aim, pull. As I'm getting into the peep and going through that process. Afterwards, good things, that it's hard to have the discipline to have the same mental process 60 shots in a row. That's the whole thing of archery. But you mental notes to take from that. It's when you make a shot, it's you can ask yourself a couple questions. What did I do well? What did I learn, and what am I going to do about it this next shot, to try to set yourself up in a positive spot to repeat and go back through your process again. And that's a lot of it. And then the other part is just trying to have the discipline to sit there and focus enough to do it, repeatedly. But that's the hard part.
Finding the repeatability is what I've struggled with, because I've spent 2 months with my indoor bow and it is dialed in. It is perfect.
Yeah.
And I cannot execute right now. Like, I'll shoot 3 good arrows and then I'll be so nerved up and have too much pushing and pulling and tension everywhere that it's just doing this sight picture like this. Can't slow down enough to execute a shot to save my life. And I'm really interested when you say, because I've always been told to relax my hands because you get so much tension in that push and pull at full draw. How do you relax? How do you relax your shoulders once you get into it to get that nice?
Well, I mean, just try not to keeping them up. Like I have to try to keep my front shoulder down. That's a bad habit, and that's brings more muscle. And yeah, you can get away with it, but eventually, and I think it just helps more of that, I guess, bone to bone structure, and it's just kind of there's a dead zone when you kind of get it locked in there, and really locking it in with your back, your scapula, I guess, the center of your back. I feel like there's certain days I shoot decent and certain days I'm not shooting that great, but the ones where I feel like I'm making good shots and it's easier or more effortless, it's like I feel like I'm really locking it in with my back, Okay. And then that just lets, and that it's not that the harder you pull, the steadier it is, but it's like locking it in, and you have all of that energy, enough energy there, and it's like that amount of pressure that makes it sit still is the same pressure that lets it go off. And
exactly.
when we relax and we get static, or you're just not in that positive pressure, that's when it bobs and that's when it moves, and then you're like, oh, I got to get it back, and then you kind of push and pull and start and stop, and and then you're just not in that state of mind, that flow, that, or this is easy state of mind.
Yeah.
And I fight it all the time. Each day I pick it up, it's like, do I got it today or do I not?
I don't know if it's a physical fatigue thing or a mental fatigue that I'm fighting right now, because you talk about that flow, that perfect push pull. Like, I'm just holding it in the middle. Maybe it'll go off. Maybe it won't. I don't even just barely have to pull on it, and that shot breaks, and I've already followed through perfect, and I'm watching it go to the middle. And then I feel like the next time my bow shoulder has ridden up, and I have no pullback here, not only to stabilize it to get it to break, but just to get the release to go off. Like, I'm so far in the hole that, and I'm not going to sit there. I don't have the discipline to let down. I'm shooting 3 arrows in 2 minutes. I'm not going to let down and tear my shoulder up 100 times to break 30 good shots. I'm just going to bang out another 8 and shake my head and say a few choice words and go pull them and maybe throw them in the quiver, maybe throw them on the ground.
If your shoulder's collapsing some, that's going to equal, static movement or not positive, keeping that locked down and then having that solid to pull against, I think helps. And then just having that good, strong shot, that makes it settle and it makes it go off. And then you're like, oh, this is fun. This is why I do this. But
the good ones bring you back, and the bad ones just devastate you emotionally.
A lot of times, I think we just get in our own way. Our own goals get in the way of our own goals. And you just have to not care about that and really go back to your process. Am I standing right? Am I doing this the same? Is my breath the same? When I draw back, I breathe in, and when I settle in, I let that breath out, and then that's the one I hold and try to, through my shot or whatever. And
so you don't breathe at full draw?
I don't. I mean, I pull back with a full set of, with a breath, and then as I relax in, I kind of let it out. And
there you go.
And relax, aim, pull, and if it doesn't break when it's supposed to, it goes awry pretty quick.
Yeah, shot process. I should try taking a deep breath and just letting it out and touching that release off before I'm out of breath. That's because 12 seconds is too long. Anywhere 8 to 11 seconds is the sweet spot. Yeah, 12 to 15, it's not going in the middle. I don't care what you do. But well, Jereme, what about you? Any shot process coaching moments, or do you pretty much put it behind the shoulder and let her eat?
Well, I was listening to Travis, and I'll echo a lot of what he is saying. That shoulder, I tell myself down and out. I want that shoulder down and extended out. I like the bone on bone. I don't really bend my elbow very much when I'm shooting. I pretty much have a straight locked out arm. For me, I'm more of a thumb button guy. I've shot the hinge, and I've done okay doing it. And then for me, I just haven't mastered it. I'll do good for a couple of weeks, and then I'll get into some target panic with it, and I'll go back to my thumb. I use the hinge mostly to kind of reset myself shooting the thumb. Like when I get a little target panicky with the thumb button, I'll shoot the hinge for a little bit, and it kind of resets me, and I can go back to the thumb and shoot it good again. I struggled with a little bit of target panic towards the end of ASA last year. Middle of the season was real good for me, and then towards the last 3 or 4 shoots, I started to, I think, put too much pressure on myself. I was kind of chasing that shooter of the year thing, and I was up there in the top 3, top 2, and the wheels fell off. So that was a learning lesson for me, putting too much pressure on myself, trying to aim too hard at stuff, instead of just looking through my shot and looking at the spot I want to hit and letting the shot process do its thing. I was aiming too hard.
We get to where we care too much about where it lands, not how it gets there.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's something I tell everybody a lot while we're shooting those things is, what if we were standing here being judged on our execution? And that was it. And there was it didn't matter what happened down at the target, and
right.
That always helps me come back to the basics of I have to make a good shot before it even matters down there, so.
Yeah.
With Winning in Mind book talks a lot about that. You put me onto that book. I think that helped me a lot last year. Focus on what's in the box around you instead of where that arrow is landing. And if you can do that one at a time, times 20 shots on the 3D range or whatever, I think you're way better ahead. Like judging yourself on what did I do right versus where did that arrow land, you'll start to see improvements in your scores.
Oh, absolutely. Just the positive reinforcement and remembering the good shots, the 12s, and forgetting the bad ones, and it all, if you get 1% better, like you said, 25 days in a row, well, you're 25% better, pretty quick, So it's a big part. That is a big part of mastering, trying to master this game is the mental part.
It is 90% mental, and it's just frustrating seeing your sight picture when you get into it and knowing that I know my shoulder's riding up, I know I'm leaking pressure, and I'm pushing and pulling trying to stabilize it, but because I'm already out of alignment, I need to just let it down and try again. Just let it down, get back into it, get those shoulders down, find the form that works, make the bow fit, because the bow's set up for exactly how tall I am, exactly how tall my peep sight height's there, draw length's there, loop length's there. I just got to do it the same every time.
Yeah, the bows shoot. I mean, whether they're set up good or not, they're going to be fairly repeatable. And at some point, and we've heard it in different places, it's how determined, are you going to be to, I'm making a good shot, and whatever it is that gears you up, whatever you have to tell yourself, that gets you to that frame of mind, like, all right, here we go, or this is what I tell myself to, that makes me focus or whatever. That's a big part of it. So,
yeah. And, it's so easy. Like in ASA, when you're competing, it's so easy to find a reason not to have fun. Like we should be doing this because we want to have fun. Like it should be fun for us. But if you're not shooting good, you're not having fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to shoot good either, though. It's a catch-22, and you may put this expectation on it that you want to win first place, in your class this weekend, and maybe you shot really well, you executed really well, but you didn't come in first place, and it's real easy to start to, not have fun with that because you didn't meet your goal. So for the new shooters, there's going to be a lot of new shooters this year in ASA. I've talked to a bunch of guys in the off season that are trying ASA for the first time this year. And I just encourage everybody, remember to have fun. And if you go out there and have fun doing this, it's the mental side and executing your shots comes a little bit easier than if you're not having fun.
Yeah. In the words of Steve Wingo, don't let one's goals get in the way of achieving one's goals.
Right.
Yeah.
Travis pretty much said that before.
Yeah, I think I heard Neil say that. That's where I heard that the other day. So
that's an old Steve Wingo quote. He talks about it like it's all zen and happiness. And you've seen the scene in Happy Gilmore where he talks about the carousel. You put the quarter in, goes round and round with the music up and down, like that kind of mentality.
Well, yeah, there is a zen. If you get deep into some of this down the rabbit hole, there's a book called I think it's called The Zen in Archery, and I've tried to listen to it on the audio version, and it's too deep. I've tried lots of times to listen to it, but there's a few things you can pick up out of there that are very interesting.
Yeah,
but you just have to try it yourself. I don't want to try to quote it, but
yeah, we're not advocating microdosing mushrooms, but if it helps the archery game, it is acceptable.
It's a whole nother side, the mental side of it. So
yeah, and I try to tell people archery is an act of self-discovery because you can manipulate the bow 1,000 different ways. Like Travis was an amazing shooter before he ever let anyone tune his bow. And then he met Chad Shoemake and started tearing it down twice a day for a year. And he's still an amazing shooter, but his arrows come out of the bow straight now. So it's still you at the end of it, but you can do 1,000,001 things to change, like you say, your stance, your setup, your peep sight height, how much holding weight you're dealing with. 1,000,001 changes, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit for it because I couldn't pick up Jereme's bow and go win with it. I couldn't pick up Travis's bow and go win with it. They can do that. They could probably pick up my bow and go win with it, but it's not anything that's, the equipment. It's 100% the guy holding it. And the more I do it, the more I'm figuring out that it's a lot of mental fortitude required. You got to be a good gunfighter, when it gets hectic and, you're up 2, you're down 2, you shoot an 8, you shoot a 12, you're 15 targets in and you realize, hey, I'm still 4 points behind the leader and we got 5 targets to go. So, there's a 10-point swing if you put the gas down and just hit the last 5, hit more than you miss. It's a big game of strategy, but it depends on your sight picture and how you're holding. One thing that I've found on the bad days, because I shoot either a 010 or a 015 fiber, and depending on how much light I put in it is how big or small it gets. If I'm shooting and holding really good, I'll turn it down because I want it as small as possible to be able to see that ring. But if I'm not executing good, I'll turn that thing up all the way to 15 and I'll make that fiber as big as I can. And I'll just cover up the general area that I want it to be and not worry about any of the arrows. I know where that 12 ring is. I don't need to see it because sometimes the more you see will make you just betray your shot process. So I'll make that thing a big old glowing green glob in my sight housing, cover it up behind the shoulder and, go back to being 12 years old bow hunting for the first time, stick it behind the shoulder and let her eat. There's your free archery advice for the day.
That's good stuff.
Subscribe to my Patreon. So besides the Tom Thomas Memorial that's going to be at Tulsa Archery on January 1st, what other events are you guys looking forward to coming up this year?
So we just agreed to host an ASA, I believe 28th and 29th of March. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Should be into March.
End of March. So looking forward to that, and we'll get together and kind of make a plan. And I don't know the layout of it yet, but
I had a 22-minute conversation last night with Bobby and Todd about the discussions of where the lanes may or may not be.
I don't know yet, so we'll get all that hashed out and make it enjoyable for everybody. So
my daddy's up there causing havoc at Tulsa Archery Association, trying to take a bulldozer to the hill. He's trying to flatten the hill out, basically.
I'll say this: the TAA ASA last year was my favorite range that I shot on all the ASA ones. It was great.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah,
that one
elevation,
difficult.
Elevation, and it was good.
If you're going to go to London, Kentucky for the Pro-Am, or you're going to shoot state at the Oklahoma City Gun Club, and mark my words, you'll all be shooting state at the Oklahoma City Gun Club. You need to go hit that Tulsa qualifier because it's going to force you to check your third axis. It's going to force you to shoot uphill, downhill, side hill all at once with your feet in an awkward position, and you're really going to see what you and the bow can do on, I don't want to say extreme angles, but unforgiving terrain is what we're saying. And hats off to the guys from Tulsa. They've reworked the entire layout to try to make it more easily navigated, because we do have some older shooters at the ASA, some less mobile guys, some guys with some knee problems, that kind of thing. So they're doing everything they can to make it easier to walk. But as far as your shooting lanes go, it is very much a challenge. I wouldn't say it's like a shot 3DX challenge kind of thing, but it has that vibe to it. So
it's about as close as you can get in the ASA rule book. Yeah.
And there's really not a rule for uphill and downhill. It's just you got to be able to see the rings. You got to be able to see the full 8 ring. You can cover up anything in the nickel, but you got to see all the vitals. And other than that, Christ be with you. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's and I mean, there's a level of physicality to it as well. I mean, you get up the hill and you're starting as far away as anybody, and you're first up on the stake and you're still huffing and puffing when they blow the whistle. You're going to have to shoot with a little bit of an elevated heart rate. And that's, you only get that in the deer woods. I had my smartwatch come on, had a deer come in, got the full draw on it. And my smartwatch is sitting there vibrating at me like, do you need help? You need to call somebody right now? And I was like, no, I'm just excited. It's like,
that's crazy.
It's like you're about to go into some kind of cardio something here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's why we go deer hunt. We're striving to make you a better bow hunter throughout the spring. And, saying for the ASA is, if you missed a deer last fall, come hang out with us all spring and summer, because we'll make you better.
I will say this. I don't know if it had to be all the shooting I did this year, but come clutch time on hunting, the 2 shots I had to make this year, it had to have been all the shooting that I did this year, because they were lights out. I couldn't have repeated them, but both of them were like dead center. One was facing me at 40 on my knees through the brush, looking at me, and I couldn't have put it any more dead center. With my,
you go full frontal on him.
Yeah, and I shoot like a 580 to 600 grain arrow, and I was like, I had to judge it. I was like, that's 40. He's 40, and if he lets me get to full draw, I was like, I'm sending this thing. And he turned at that point, and I'm like, that's 40. I'm sending this arrow. It's gonna go all the way through him, And I shot, and I didn't see the arrow, but fly and hit him. But I could tell by his reaction. I was like, and when I heard him run off and kind of crash, I was like, I think I just hit him where I was trying,
Buried him up, huh?
The arrow went all the way to, it was like to the rear end, it went completely through him. But that was, And the second one was just a 35-yard good shot, but like I had to squat down in my tree stand to make a hole open up, and get a little opening. And I was like, yeah, that's 35. I can make it through there, looking through my pins and doing the gap, yeah, that's not going to hit that twig about halfway, but, yeah.
So tell everybody what your hunting setup looks like. We kind of went through your target bow a little bit, but Dave's not with us tonight, but we got to ask Dave's favorite question. Tell us what you're shooting.
The different setups, yeah. So my hunting bow, it's just an old Matthews Traverse. I don't have anything new or up to date. I did put stabilizers on it this year. That's the first time in like 20 years probably. I always use a 2-piece bolt-on quiver, and that's just always been it's been heavy towards the right forever. I just get used to shooting it like that. But I did use stabilizers, and arrow wise, I was shooting the VAP SS that I won through shot at the different events this year, and I shoot a 200 grain cutthroat broadhead. So the total arrow on these was 588, the weight, and at 70 pounds they were shooting, I think, 255. So it's like old school setup, feels like you can still kind of see the arrow fly a little bit, and takes a little bit of tuning to get a stiffer arrow and heavier front of center and all that. And I did go through the Okie Hammer school of tuning on that thing, went over with Chad, and we put new strings on it and spent the day messing with it. But I mean, once you get it set up, it's bulletproof, and you have penetration for days. So
it's never not passed through the deer, is what you're saying.
No, and I haven't had a bad experience where I hit something hard like their shoulders yet. I'm not too worried about it though.
I was hunting with a buddy of mine from Kansas once, just pulling 76 pounds on an old Matthews with a arrow that weighed about 720, 725. And he gets to full draw, and I'm in his ear like, wait for it to turn broadside. He goes, 725 grain arrow. There ain't no such thing as broadside. Watch this. And that arrow went 80 yards after it passed through that deer. I mean, we're talking 97-pound yearling doe, and that arrow went halfway to the house.
Yeah. The second one, I've got a picture. It passed through, but it stuck in this tree. Yeah, half-inch in this tree, and I was able to just get it out. And I mean, the broadhead is fine. I'll resharpen it before I used it again. But those cutthroats, like their S7 tool steel or whatever, they're super durable. I mean, I've hit rocks on them and bent them and just grinded this tip off and reused them before. So. But yeah, heavy arrows, it's not for everybody. Everybody has their opinions, heavy, medium, light. You can kill them with whatever, but that's what I've used for the last, 5-6 years probably or whatever. I've shot some at 50, 55, and it still goes right through them.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for finding a setup that works, because we all like bouncing around and trying new things.
Oh, yeah.
If you get something that's dialed in that works, just keep carrying that bow to the woods. Just keep on killing them with it. Everybody kills, 2 years worth and trades it in for the new model, and kills 2 years worth and trades it in again. It's like, man, get to know that bow. Put 100 kills on it.
Yeah, I've got an old switchback, and then I've got the Traverse, and between those two, that's what I've hunted with for a long time.
Jeremy, what are you toting out to the woods this year?
Oh, well, this is going to be that's a loaded question, because I'm the exact opposite of Travis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I currently have 5 hunting setups right now that I just whichever one I grab and go. I've got my RX-7. It's an 80-pound bow, and I took a frontal shot on a doe at like 8 yards last year with that one, and it blew out her backside. I shoot about a 500 grain arrow out of that one. It's not super heavy, but I think if you're in the 500 range, I consider that on the heavy side.
It's a really good setup.
Yeah, it went in right here and out the back end. It was pretty brutal. I've got the RX-8. I've killed my Nebraska buck with it last year. I haven't hunted with it this year. I killed my buck this year with a Prime RVX, and I'm currently trying to get that Darton Sequel 35 bloody with the big boy in the backyard. So, except for the RX-8, I shoot the same arrow out of all the other bows. 250 spine, Victory, Rip TKO, right at 500 grains with a Sever broadhead, the hybrid 2.0 on the front end. Yeah, that's kind of just whatever bow I grab. Right now, I'm trying to get that Darton its first kill. It's been last in line, so I need to get it bloodied up.
Hey, they work, man. Every one of them I've hit this year has been a complete pass through. Deer, turkey, logs, trees, you name it. I've shot through everything.
Yeah.
I missed a shot. First deer I've ever tried to shoot out of a saddle the other day. That was a interesting moment. So I ran. It was a weak side saddle shot, and I didn't run it the tether back this way. I ran it like down here, and I'm basically like leaned up against the tree to hold myself into it.
Yeah,
it was not proper shooting alignment form by any means. And if you don't have a bend at the waist in your shot, you will miss about 11 inches high.
Yep, go over the top every time.
Oh yeah, didn't cut a hair on him. He just looked around like, okay, I'm going back to the corn pile now. Like, yeah, it was amateur hour in the saddle for me, but it was fun, hanging off the side of the tree for dear life, going, just don't let me fall off this 8x8 metal platform. But we're learning, we're trying new things. Really makes you appreciate a tree stand with a nice cushy seat in it. Nothing wrong.
I haven't tried the saddle thing yet.
They're fun if you don't
old
mind.
school tree stand guy.
Yeah, if you don't mind carrying gear and doohickeys and bridges and just it's a million gadgets every time you go to the woods, man. There's nothing like climbing up an old rusty ladder stand and just sitting there. Like, yeah, maybe I'll see some deer, maybe not. Like that, I appreciate that so much more for the first 20 years of hunting that I did, rather than trying to be mobile and stealthy and hang and hunt and all these things that you see the pros do and the guys on the internet make it look so easy. And you get out there with $1,000 worth of crap you bought and can't come within a foot of hitting a deer. Like, well, what am I doing, guys?
Hanging hunt is tough. I did some of that, more of that this year. I'd got a good lightweight setup, tree stand and sticks, and the hanging hunt thing is difficult. It's tough to get in there quiet like I like to get in there quiet. I prefer to have it at least hung and then sneak in there, climb in and sit down. But I did get a killer set up with some good sticks and stuff like that, but it is super difficult to
that's why
do
they
it the way I see other people doing it. I'm not it's just not quite as stealthy or whatever. Like, I'm OCD on being stealthy on the entrance, but yeah.
Are you taking your scent capsules this year like you do every year?
Well, that's a secret. So, yeah, I did. The other thing I was talking to Jereme about was the scent thief stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I normally just play the wind. I'm pretty simple on everything I do, so I just hunt the wind the best I can. And but Jereme had told me about the scent thief stuff, and so I did give that a try this year. I wasn't going to use it at all, and he told me about it. So I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And I had several good experiences where deer 100% should have blew out and left the county or just left, and they did not, and I could not believe it. And so I'd go hunting a few more days and have another encounter. I had one little spike deer walk up underneath me, and I've got a video. He's touching his nose to my bow rope that I just touched, and raised my bow up the tree with. and I'm only one stick high, so I wasn't like 10 feet off the ground maybe. And he has his nose on the rope and looks, I mean, right at me, videoing him, and then just like turns around and walks off. Like, he could not smell past that smell he was smelling, you know. But yeah, up in Kansas, I had a 9-pointer, a pretty decent deer that had got past, and I had grunted at him, and it was kind of wide open country, and he turned and looked and didn't see anything, so he turned right around and walked straight downwind and was gonna nail me with his nose, and then, you know, check his eyes basically. And he got the same level on this hill and turned and was looking and was like, yeah, it's right there, I can smell it. And he just turned around and walked off, you know, and 30 minutes later was pushing some does around, which, I mean, that's a game changer there. I mean, whether they leave or not leave, you know. And so I was super impressed. Yeah, I was amazed. Been waiting to tell Jereme about that.
That's awesome, man. We use the crap out of it, and I've been busted twice this year, but it wasn't off a scent. They caught my movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad thing I will say about saddle hunting, and that's pretty much all I do now is saddle hunt. Even in my backyard, I'll just go up in a saddle, because I find that it's more comfortable for me. I've gotten used to it. I've got my own system, and that's kind of the thing about saddle hunting is you need to find your process and your system of getting up in the tree and how to use your gear the way you want to use it. But once you find that and you got a system down, I'm up in the tree ready to hunt in 4 to 7 minutes, depending on the tree.
Dang.
And I like the comfortability of it and the freedom of being able to change on the fly pretty quick, moving around the tree if I need to hide myself. But the downside is I catch myself moving a little bit more than I would if I'm sitting in a tree stand, a traditional tree stand. So sometimes I'll get busted by, you know, sitting there swinging around the tree a little bit, trying to get in a different comfortable position. And if I'm not careful, you can get busted.
I get too comfortable in my tree stand. I'm probably not paying attention half the time and miss something. That good buck I hit this year, he had walked up and one of the only 2 little openings, and I was like, well, there you go. Like, that was your opportunity. Like, because I had to, you know, turn around and grab my bow, and then he walks off, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that was your chance. You know, the way I figure it, I got to hunt 7 days, daylight till dark, and try to get one opportunity, one shot, you know, one 5-second moment. And I was like, well, there it was, you know, now you got to, luckily he turned and came towards me, went down a little trail, and I got a shot at him. But that's a small window, you know, game of inches, stuff like that. So.
I've not yet figured out how to take a nap in my saddle. I'm pretty disappointed about that. That's my second favorite.
I can't do that. That's the best place to take a nap. I could climb up in the tree and
call Brian Thomas. He can give you lessons on how to take a nap.
That's got it. Once I figure that out, I figure I'll be good with it. And I'm not so much scared of the saddle and the platform. It's the sticks getting up in it. I would just as soon pick a tree, limit out, and leave a set of 20-foot climbers on that tree. If I know that's where if that's where the deer are and that's where I know I'm going, and I've walked in there to put a camera out, I'm probably going to walk back in there a second time, put a set of 20-foot sticks on it, and just climb up and put my saddle at the top of it. Like, I don't like the little 4-piece. Never tried to do it in the dark. If I saddle hunt and I'm putting sticks on the tree, it's going to be an afternoon hunt, and I'm probably leaving them there until the next day because I'm not trying to get out in the dark, throw them down on the ground, step on them, wrap them up, clank them together, throw them on the backpack, and hike out with them. Like, that's not my it's not really my forte. I would be so loud, I'd blow everything out of there. There wouldn't be a deer in a country mile.
I invested in some good sticks this year. They were called tree sticks, STYX. They're like a carbon tube or whatever in polymer. They're worth checking out. They don't clank. if they do, it's not a metal noise, and they were extremely lightweight. And
There you go.
they're a little pricey, but
Oh yeah.
if you're going to invest in something that you're going to carry around, I mean, you might as well make it light and strong or whatever. So I think that was a pretty good.
How's the standoff on them? Like the distance off the tree?
They were. I mean, I didn't have any issues at all.
Yeah.
Like they were great. Yeah.
I bought the Latitude carbon ones, and they're super light. But I'm not really happy with the standoff on. I got big feet, and it feels like I'm tippy toeing up that tree. There's not a whole lot of meat there.
Yeah,
for me.
they're off the tree a little bit. Like kind of like a normal stick. It felt like, but I like that they didn't have the metal clangy sound to them, and they were just so lightweight. It was just a no-brainer, really. So, and I went with an XOP fly stand. It was a real lightweight stand, and those sticks and the whole all together, it was like 10 pounds maybe. So it was a good setup, but
getting it to all strapped to the backpack is the tricky side. You get it all.
Tricky side. I mean, before that, it's just homemade tree stands and and whatever.
You're talking about hunting public. How far back in there are you going? Couple miles?
So I hunt a lot by water, by canoes or kayak. This year it was with a kayak. I had to retire my old canoe, but so I was floating around on a 10-foot kayak this year, and where I shot that one good buck. I mean, it was that morning. It's a 1.5 mile float in the dark to end up at your destination and get in your tree. Like a sneaking Mohican, But that's probably my extreme spot. It's just I put in at one spot, I float down. I have a midnight float trip. It's not midnight, but in the dark, and
4:30 a.m.
Yeah, float down in the dark. That's like my favorite thing about all of it is floating in the dark, like looking at the stars and stuff like that. But hunt that spot, and once I get down, I got to float down another good distance to get out, and then I'll have a bike stashed somewhere, and I'll have to ride a bike back to my truck and then start the process over for that. That's just for a particular wind. I have some other spots that it wasn't as difficult to get to, but that was the extreme one where I ended up killing my deer at or whatever. So that's what I was kind of proud about, was all the little things logistics you got to get around to get in, to get out, to get there, to not get wet, to not get all of it. So.
Oh yeah. It's is it at least one of the stable kayaks, or is it one of them that's like this the whole time?
It was pretty stable, I will say, and I did have to, I quartered that deer up. It is not big enough for me and a big deer to get out safely. I about turned into a 10-foot crankbait a couple of times. The nose of it started going a little fast, and the nose of it started going kind of under, and one of my boots was floating by, and I kind of grabbed it, and I was like, hold on a second, we got to readjust some weight here and take this easy. I prefer a 12-foot canoe, and I'm definitely gonna reinvest and get a good 12-foot canoe again. That's what I always preferred, but I've got a couple longer ones, but it's all about weight and what you can want to carry and where you're going to drag it, where you're going to pick it up and get it out of, and all that stuff. So the 10-foot kayak was plenty stable, getting me there and back and all that. And this year it was no big deal. The water was low to calm. It was, last year it was at like top capacity, and it was, I don't even know, just extreme conditions from low to a very, very full river. It's like playing Frogger in the dark, dodging trees and trees that are moving and trees that ain't moving on high water condition. It wasn't safe. Like, I don't suggest everybody.
Do you use the trolling motor?
No, I'm paddling.
Okay.
And so, different things, different scenarios that are not safe sometimes for sure, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
I walk down the hill 400 steps, crawl on the ground blind, walk back up the hill 400 steps, and that's about as much adventure as I can stand.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories about people that are like, well, you got to go where they are, and here's how you get there. And it doesn't seem like a big deal. Me, I'm one panic attack away from just giving up deer hunting altogether. It just doesn't.
But for me, it's all about like the approach and not being, not being noticed when I, sneaking in their back door, basically. Like if I was trying to sneak into your house, I wouldn't just come through the front door knocking on it, I would sneak in quietly, and that's the whole deal. I can sneak in quietly and then I can get out of there, and I might be able to go back every day, because I literally might not have walked 10 yards, and they can't know that I'm there that much, if the wind is right. If I'm sitting there when the wind is wrong, then you're going to burn it up fast. So that's the allure to me, is just trying to get in and get out logically without educating them, and then waiting. A lot of the places, I might hunt, don't hold a lot of deer or look like it, but in the rut, when they're moving, if you sit long enough, usually one will come by, and that's all I'm looking for. I'm not picking a deer or picking a bed, or I'm picking places that I can get to without them knowing it, basically.
They say there's levels to this game. We're not hunting a lot of deer. We're hunting one deer, hunting one specific deer, and trying to put a play on, and where you've seen him, where you've encountered like that. You said he walked down the same trail about the same day.
Yeah, right. I had encountered him last year, but I'm not running cameras. I don't know these animals. I knew him because I saw him one day last year, and as I think back, I may have seen him maybe as a younger deer, possibly, because he's just a unique, narrow, high-racked. I remember saying, this weird high-racked deer came by, but I had seen a bigger one last year, and this one got downwind of me, and he backed out before I could really make up my mind. One of those deals, but.
Did he back out real easy, like he just caught you, or did he blow out of there?
No, he backed out real easy. Yeah.
There you go.
Like I said, I had encountered a better deer, and it was, I think, the second time I went to sit there, and this one came by, and I was at full draw, and I was questioning myself. I was like, I'm not real sure, because, a lot of deer don't look that big from the tree. I knew he wasn't as big as the other one I saw, and so I was like, I don't know, and he went through the one little gap, and he was going to walk right up in front of me. But once he got behind this other tree, he caught a whiff and slowly backed out of there, slowly, quickly, where you don't get another chance how they always do it, So,
I hate it when that happens, but I love it because, you're not burned. You're just not going to kill him today.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where it's like, we're playing cat and mouse now. This is where we went from playing checkers to we are now playing chess. And that's what makes them such a worthy adversary to chase and to try to kill a mature deer.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Before we get out of here, I want to give you both a chance to, shout out any sponsors, any friends and family you want to say hi to. And Jereme, make sure you tell us the full schedule, since it's out now, for your SHOT 3D experience, because we're not just doing indoor this year. We still have 5 or 6 outdoor events. So drop those dates below, and we'll make sure and try to get everybody out there.
Yeah, I'll go first. Our first 3D event will be in Louisiana this year. Same place we were last year, Muddy Bottoms ATV Park, Sarepta, Louisiana. That's going to be on it's February 28th and March 1st. So last day of February, first day of March. And then we're coming to Arrowhead State Park on Eufaula Lake, March 14th and 15th. That's always a great event. Then we'll be rolling up to Kansas at Fall River. That's the Flint Oak Hunting Lodge. Very popular last year with the guys who were at the Flint Oak Lodge. You don't want to miss that one. The Kansas event was legit. So that's April 25th and 26th. It's on top of Minden. Can't avoid it. The ASA qualifier, we're going to try to do that on Sunday instead of Saturday. So if you are going to go shoot Minden on Friday and Saturday, you can still come shoot your Kansas qualifier on Sunday at the Flint Oak Hunting Lodge. And then we go to Arkansas, Mulberry Mountain again. That's going to be May 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's a 3-day event. It's Mother's Day weekend. All moms get in free on that one, guys. So if you are a mom and you want to come with your husband, your sons, whatever, you get in for free on that event. All moms in free. 3-day event.
And you got time between now and then to have a kid to get in for free. So
you
get on it real quick. Save some money.
And then we'll have our Tulsa event at the Post Oak Lodge. That's June 5th, 6th, and 7th. That'll be our big local kind of grand finale event, but it's not our grand finale event. We are adding a 6th event for the year in 2026, and that's in Pennsylvania. That's Ulysses, Pennsylvania. That's about the middle of the state, almost crossing into New York. It's at the Denton Go Ski Resort. So you're in the mountains. It's a 4-day event, and they promise to have 2,000 to 3,000 people there. So we're looking for that one. It's going to be our first really get away from home kind of event at a ski resort. They invited us to come up to do this. At first, we were pretty hesitant. They wanted us there in 2025, and we're like, there's no way we have time to make that work out. That's a lot of logistics for us. So that's going to be in August 20th through the 23rd, 4-day event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're looking to get in the mountains to a Shot 3D event, that's going to be the first one available to us. Come up and see us in Pennsylvania.
And they can find that all in registration on shot3dx.com.
Yep, it's all registration is open. You save $10 if you register online. We encourage everybody to, but you can still pay at the gate. Just $10 more at the gate.
Perfect. Travis, who you got?
We've got the Tom Thomas Memorial Shoot on New Year's Day. Text me if you want to get on the shooting lines, 9, noon, or 3. And then we have the ASA planned for March 28th and 29th. And then I believe we have the OSAA, I'm going to say the marked 3D.
Okay.
More than likely, because usually unmarked at Wagner. So I'm going to say marked 3D. I think it's May 2nd and 3rd, but as it gets closer, we'll get that out there. But I believe that's our 3 big shoots for Tulsa Archery.
Perfect. Any sponsors you want to thank while you got them?
None particularly, Shot 3D, Oklahoma Archery Podcast. The Arrow Shop, Okie Hammer Bow Tuning. Yeah.
Okie Hammer Bow Tuning, yeah. There you go. Shout out to Chad on that one.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody in particular that I'm sponsored by, so just everybody in the community. So.
Self-made, self-paid, and self-promoted.
I'm still waiting. Yeah.
Well, you did pretty good at the Pro-Am you went to last year. So, I mean.
Yeah, that was the first time I podiumed at Minden in the bow hunter class. That was pretty cool. Metropolis got cut short. I had not a great first day, but I was having a really good second day when the lightning struck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, trust me, I'm just glad you're shooting that class and not my class. So I appreciate that more than I could possibly tell you.
Well, yeah. Well, they did away with it or changed it all this year. So
it's just a slider sight and a longer
slider or whatever.
Yeah,
you'll
be fine. You'll be fine. There's still, Jeremy's. I've told people about Jereme. I was like, even if you give him a slider, he's still going to pin gap. I mean, some people just like it better as a sight picture. I mean, there's not.
It's It's natural to me. I mean, there was times last year, where I would shoot my pins just because it was just natural or whatever. I'm still getting used to all that fancy stuff.
Helps you look through better as you execute, not look through the shot, not around the shot. So that's a forgotten art when you come time to put your hunting bow together. It's like, oh yeah, there's pins on this thing. I got to kind of glob them in there and fire this thing off. Like that shouldn't be a foreign feeling when it's time to dust off the hunting bow after a long year of, shooting foam.
Right.
So those guys out there that do it year round, they definitely got a leg up once October 1 hits.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there at the next couple tournaments. What's up, Jeremy?
One more thing. I got the email, so ASA renewals are up, right?
ASA renewals are up, yes. Yep. I guess public service announcement. When you go renew, please get your info to either me or any of our clubs. Helping them fill out their 10-member roster makes it affordable for them to have ASA qualifiers. It costs you $0. All you have to do is send them your name, address, phone number, email, birth date, and ASA number, and they're getting a discount on their dues to nationals every year. It doesn't matter if you live near that club. It does not matter if you've ever been to that club. It doesn't even matter if you live in the same state as that club. They can use your membership as a voucher for nationals, and it helps them out a ton. That's how we were able to get so many new clubs. So renewals open for clubs and individuals now. When you go on the website, please either message me or look on the Facebook page for who to give your membership to. It costs you $0, but it helps the clubs out a ton. And I guess we'll give a little bit of an announcement now. I got off the phone today with Casey Bruce from Center Shot Ministries. We'd had him on about 4 or 5 episodes ago. For Oklahoma ASA, we're going to have a new class this year. I know that Nationals added 2 classes. We're going to add a basic compound class. It's a 20-yard max for some of our younger archers that shoot Genesis. We've got a lot of NASP teams and center shot teams here in the state that want to bring, their students and their youth out to the ASA. So typically they'd either shot the Barebow division or Eagle or Junior Eagle Open or Eagle Recurve. We're going to give them their own 20-yard class. They're going to have a belt buckle for the state championship. They're going to have a belt buckle for shooter of the year, just in hopes that, not having to shoot the full 30 yards with a Genesis bow and Genesis arrows. That's something that we had kicked around doing, and we finally pulled the trigger on that one today. So if you know any NASP teams or center shot teams out there, have them reach out, get them a copy of the schedule. We still got to update that for a couple of dates coming up. But get those guys excited about coming out to the ASA, because that's something that they've never had truly a place to compete in as their own class. And I think that's something that we're gonna change moving forward. It won't be a recognized class at the national level, but for everything in Oklahoma, we'll treat it just like everything else. So that was something that Casey Bruce had called me and pitched the idea to me. So hats off to Casey for making, archery more accessible to some of these younger people. He's doing big things, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So y'all be good. We're going to put the dates for the shot events below. January 1st, Tom Thomas Memorial, and we'll see you in Tulsa for the Indoor 3D January
9th, 10th, and 11th. 9th,
10th, and 11th at the formerly known Cox Convention Center.
Yep.
Arvest Center, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
We'll see you there. Bring whatever bow you have. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all sitting down with us, and we'll see you on the trail.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
See you.